Howdy guys, it's Joe here, and today I want to talk to you guys a little bit more about, improving your game of Overwatch, getting a higher rank, or maining a hero, and a kind of way to actually do that with physical reminders and stuff like that. Now, of course, I've always been a person that does recommend, put a lot of effort, get really good at the character, get good at the game, enjoy the game, and such from there. Of course, that's pretty easy to tell just from, my competitive nature, from the way I talk, from the way I go over the game. But I want to give you guys some exact examples of kind of what you can do in order to actually do a little bit better, get a bit higher of a rank, and just go from there. So the first thing I'd like to talk about that I've talked about a few times in the past is first, set a few goals. Now, what you probably always want to do is set a short-term goal, a medium-term goal, and a long-term goal. For example, for a short-term goal, you could be like, I want to play Overwatch for at least 30 minutes a day, and just try to do that. Play at least 30 minutes of ranked a day, and try to get better, improve like that. Or you could also say, I want to try to play at least, 10 minutes of practice range to try to improve my aim. For a medium-term goal, you could be like, I want to go up 100 points. And for a long-term goal, within the next 1 to 3 months, you could say, I want to go up like an entire division. Try to go from like silver to platinum, not silver to platinum, silver to gold, or gold to platinum. You could have a lot of those goals, and I would recommend that you set those up. Of course, I've talked about this in the past. You should have some goals set up. But what should you do after you've actually set up these goals, and how can you actually give yourself some reminders to actually do these goals? And I feel like this is a big thing, as a lot of the times, especially with me in the past, I've had a few goals, I've had a few goals for myself, and I'm thinking about them, I'm really pumped to do them, and then I simply kind of just forget about them, you haven't really thought about it way too much. Maybe some days you get back on the high horse, keep doing those goals, but some days you just fall off and you just don't really think about it. But I have found a few ways that I've really learned about that can help you a lot in order to complete these goals. And this mainly just focuses on reminding yourself, giving yourself reminders, and giving yourself physical things in front of you that remind you what you want to do. Now, of course, let me give you an exact example of this. So, when I was playing Overwatch about a month ago or so, maybe less than that, probably less, like half a month, I really wanted to get Diamond. I always wanted Diamond in Overwatch. I've always wanted Diamond in any really ranked game in general. Of course, Overwatch is a little bit easier to get Diamond in than other games, but I just always wanted it. I've wanted it in every game, and I haven't ever achieved it. So I really wanted that, and I thought to myself, long-term goal, I want to get this Diamond. But the problem is that in the past, a lot of times, I just didn't really try way too hard for it. I really didn't remember way too hard for it. I didn't put in as much effort. So I decided I'm going to try to change something this time. I'm going to try to change at least one thing to maybe give me a boost in order to just play the game more. And I figured out something that actually worked really well for myself, and that I've seen actually work well for a lot of other people that I've talked to. So essentially what I did was I walked upstairs, got out a post-it note, and of course it doesn't have to be a post-it note, it could just be a piece of paper that you tape to the wall or anything like that, and I wrote on that post-it note, I want to get to Diamond, I'm gonna play games in order to get there. That's simply all I wrote, and then I drew a really crappy like Diamond logo, whatever. I drew that, and I put it on my wall. And from there, I had the goal set up, I knew what I wanted to do, and I kind of knew how to get there. Of course, over time, I wrote a few little things on it, like I want to practice at least, 10 minutes a day, try to get my aim up, which I have quite a bit from that. As well, on the wall, I also wrote, I want to play at least like 30 minutes a day, try to actually play a lot of ranked games. Personally, for myself, a lot of times I'll just fall into the rut of simply not playing ranked games just because, I have other stuff I have to do, other stuff I want to do. Maybe I want to play Mass Effect, maybe I want to, just watch a movie, or just watch an entire TV show. There's a lot of stuff you could do. Maybe you just want to, finish your homework now instead of later. I don't know exactly what, but there's a lot of stuff I'd want to do, or a lot of times I just, kind of just procrastinate playing Overwatch, or at least playing Overwatch competitive and going for my goal. But the thing is, once I finally put this up there, once I had this in front of my eyes, showing me exactly what I wanted to do, and showing me kind of a few tips for myself, how to get there, I feel like it helped me a lot. From then on, I walk home, I look at my screen, and I guess not my screen, my wall right behind my screen, and I'd be able to see this thing right in front of me, a nice indication of what I wanted to do, of the goal I wanted to complete, and that really, really motivated myself in order to complete that a lot faster. As well with that, once I started to get into it, for a while I really wanted to play some Reinhardt, so I got a little hammer, just put it next to me, kind of remind I want to play Reinhardt, and I realized that's a pretty cool thing that you could do. For example, if you want to main someone like Genji, get a little mini sword, put it on your wall. It doesn't even have to be a Genji sword, just something, like a thing the size of a pencil. Just keep it up there, keep it something that, can really remind you of playing them. Also, I got a shirt of McCree because I really wanted to get good at McCree, and I've actually worn that shirt a lot, played McCree, and gotten a lot better as McCree while wearing that shirt. I feel like in general, having a lot of actual physical reminders right in front of you, things that can show you exactly what you actually want to do, and just remind you what your goals are, can help you a lot. And they can help you a lot, especially if you already have goals in the past. Now, with that said, as always, you don't have to be try hard. You don't have to be like, I'm gonna get pissed off if I don't achieve my goal by the next 3 days, by the next week. It's okay. You can give yourself a lot of time. Just as long as you have a reminder trying to help you get better, that's That's really all you really need. As well with that, you know, if you're a casual player, if you don't really want to get better way too much, if you don't really care way too much about that, then of course you don't have to do this. And as well, if you're just a person that wants to simply get a lot of hours as one character, or just simply wants to main a character and get good at a certain character, you could do that. Instead of, you know, writing your rank, you could put on the wall, I want to become like the best Reinhardt player, or at least a top 500 Reinhardt player, or top 1000 Genji player. Something like that. I feel like having these physical reminders can help you a lot, and I would recommend, if you can, try to get them out, and just try to put them somewhere that you can see them. Of course, they don't have to be like a giant poster, it just has to be something that you can see that can remind you, and I feel like that will help you a lot, short term and long term. Anyways, as always, this is just from my own experiences, my own opinions, and I would recommend that you try this out, but you don't have to, you know, I'm not forcing it upon you, and just tell me if it does work, at least for yourself, you know, like a week down the line or a month down the line. As well with that, if you did enjoy the video, make sure to like it, make sure to subscribe if you want to see any future videos like this, and as always, have a wonderful day.